What's up, guys, and welcome to another session of Ranting with yours truly. This time around, I have a couple things that I would like to discuss. The first thing that I'd like to get out of the way, and this isn't really one of the focal points of this session, but I am sorry that this is actually quite a short episode for one of my rants. It was about 15 and a half minutes, but I had to cut out like 4 clips because they just weren't rendering properly. This isn't anything new. This is something that's been happening for over a month now, and I blame it most likely on my terrible editing software. Well, it's not terrible, but it's a far cry from Vegas Pro or Adobe Premiere or something like that. It's kind of a cut rate software, but that's something that's bothering me, and I don't really want to talk about it for too long or I'll probably get pissed, to be honest. But as an editor, it really sucks to have to cut out clips that you want to use because they're just not rendering properly. Now, I don't have very much experience rendering, and it's possible that I'm messing something up with the settings, but I just don't understand why 90% of the clips come out perfectly fine and 10% don't. They all look the same before the rendering process, but afterwards, they're not all created equally, I suppose. But it's frustrating, and that's what's up here. That's kind of why we're dealing with a shorter episode. I would have gone out and recorded more, but guys, I've done this before. I've been like, okay, well, I had to cut out all these great clips that I wanted to use, so I guess it's time to go back and record some more. I go back and record more, and then I have those clips mess up on me too, or at least some of them, and I just think to myself, man, damn it. It's really frustrating, and you have to draw the line somewhere. But also, real quickly, I have ordered a new capture card in anticipation of picking up a PS4 and Bloodborne in the near future. So I have made some additional investments to my channel, and the next thing is going to be editing software. So I'm going to try to eliminate that problem promptly. Oh yeah, and let me go ahead and mention this real quickly too before I launch into my first topic. I am thinking, since last year I participated in the Back to the Nexus event, the sort of like Demon Souls relaunch thing that Peeve arranged, and I participated in it last year, and it was fantastic. I actually made a penetrating sword build in honor of Peeve. I never finished it, unfortunately, but I'm thinking I have yet to come back and play Demon Souls this year. I know that the community event was last Sunday, the second Back to the Nexus event. I still haven't played, so I'm hopeful that I can hook that up in the next couple days and maybe get some action. Maybe log back in on my penetrating sword build that I never finished and try to get some invasions. I think that would be quite awesome, actually, and probably a welcome change of pace from Dark Souls 2. And this is actually a perfect segue here, really. I would love to keep playing Dark Souls 2 in between now and Bloodborne, especially. I'd love to keep invading, but invasions are dying for me on the PC. They are now noticeably, and they're not dead, mind you, but they're slow. Okay, they're really slow. Whereas a month ago, I was able to get invasions wherever I wanted, non-stop invasions. Now, I'm only getting invasions in some of the DLC areas and maybe a couple other zones in the base game. Obviously Iron Key Bridge, but you can't really count that as random invasions. So, yeah, things are slowing down for me. Oh yeah, and real quickly, you see me shrugging at this guy, right? Normally I'm not one for these sorts of shenanigans in an invasion, gesturing before the fight has finished. But this guy was like in the corner back here shooting arrows at me, trying to pepper me down. I guess he didn't think that I could get back there to him? I don't really know. I was a bit taken aback by that. Oh, and this guy comes up the steps and pegs me right in the face with what looks to be a crystal soul spear while I'm buffing. I guess I pretty much deserved that. I had just zoned in, and I thought I was going to have time to buff up, but apparently not. I kind of paid the price for that. But he backs off and is like super defensive after that, even though he's got me on the ropes. I end up just being the aggressor. And I would segue to my second point, because this is actually a perfect opportunity to do that. But I do kind of want to reiterate, invasions are dying down. So as somebody who is really focused on doing random invasions, my Dark Souls 2 is going to slow down a little bit as a result. Guys, I've had some people mention this to me before. They're like, dude, why don't you come over to Xbox and play with us? Man, I'd love to, if I wasn't completely burned out on the PvE aspect of the game. Guys, I promise you, I am not leveling. I am not going to re-roll all my builds on the console. It's just never going to happen. That I almost get nauseous thinking about it. But yeah, anyway, I would love to get the random invasions that I used to be able to get on the PC just a month ago, but yeah, I'm not going to deal with playing through the game like 10 times, in order to get my 5 builds where they need to be. It's just, not happening. But I am going to continue to play as long as I can. I might have to transition over to Iron Key Bridge at some point and just be content doing some duels every now and then, but that kind of sucks. I don't hate duels or anything. I actually love duels, but I gotta be honest, I hate dueling on the Iron Key Bridge. I hate it. Can we just go somewhere else for duels, please? Like, why not the Chapel Threshold? That place is, it's much more ideal for duels, in my opinion. There's a bonfire right there, there's no enemies nearby, there's a nice wide open space right next to the bonfire for people to fight. Why the Iron Key Bridge? It seems like a very unideal place for duels, but I guess that's where it is. And now I should go ahead and talk about my last thing here, which is turtles. Now, turtles are nothing new, right? You fight them quite often, but my last few sessions, I've been running into all kinds of turtles. And I'm not talking, oh, this guy's playing really defensively. I'm talking, I'm chasing a guy around for 3 minutes before he or I go down. That's too long for me. If it's a 3-minute fight and it's just back and forth, that's one thing. That's great. That's exciting. But when it's just you chasing a guy that's backpedaling away from you for 3 minutes, it feels like an eternity. It really does. It drains all of your energy for the next invasion. It really, really does. And this guy, he's... The one thing I will say is that he is fighting back a little bit, so I guess he's not as big of a turtle as I've seen in the past. But the big thing about this guy is, thank God he didn't heal on me. Or, seriously, I might have just, ran away and Black Crystaled out. I've never done that before. Never done that. Really never even considered doing it until my last couple sessions, where I'm just invading turtles back to back to back to back. Some of them heal, some of them don't. The ones that heal, it's like, man, like this guy right here, he was healing up on me a little bit. I was getting pretty frustrated, as you could see there. I just kind of stopped and started shaking my weapon at him a little bit. It's like, man, just... it's a legitimate strategy and all. It's a legitimate strategy, but for me, as somebody who's a really aggressive player and actually quite impatient, it drives me absolutely insane. Absolutely insane, guys. But yeah, this one was quite unfortunate. I thought I was going to get him there. It looked to me like I was behind him, entirely behind him, and still I took damage from an R1 there, somehow or another. I guess that's Dark Souls 2 for you. Probably just Souls games in general for you, to be honest. But anyway, this is the last turtle, guys, and it's an epic one. All right, this is actually quite an old fight. This is from before I changed my Manslayer build to the Full Moon Sickle and Chaos Blade variant, and oh my goodness. This guy's a turtle. Okay, like, if you look up the definition of turtle in the Souls dictionary, you're gonna see a picture of this guy. A picture of this guy smiling at you. And, yeah, this was a good one. This was definitely a good one. But, you know, it's not something that I detest to the point that I'm actually gonna rage quit or Black Crystal out. I'd never do that, you know. I say these things in jest, but they're pretty damn frustrating, okay? And I think I'll just leave it at that. I'm out of time, guys. See you on the next one.